Alright folks, so today I'm going to introduce you to this. It's a Hygger high efficiency AC/DC air pump. And this is a sponsored video, just need to say. Hygger sent me this pump to take a look at it and review. And I will have a link in the description of this video that after you've watched the review, it's just going to be an initial review. It's not a long-term review yet. I will do a long-term review later on. But if this is something that interests you or you could use, there'll be a link in the description that you could use to purchase this, and you will get a discount if you use the link that's provided in the description. So without further ado, we'll get into the review. All right, folks. So we are here. We're going to check out the Hygger 123 high efficiency air pump. Hygger sent this to me to check it out, so this is what we're going to do. So I'm not doing an unboxing. I'm just going to show you what comes in the box. Pretty simple. So first of all, you have the pump itself. It comes with 8 air stones, and they're big air stones. It comes with a 6-port manifold. It comes with 6 roughly 4-foot long air hoses. And the larger hose has a check valve that connects the pump to the manifold. And that's pretty much what you get in the box. Hey ladies and gentlemen, so I'm not going to really do an assembly video. It's pretty simple to assemble this stuff. I mean, you put the hoses onto the manifold, plug your little air stones, onto the end of the hose. The only thing that you need to be aware of is this particular hose that goes from the pump itself to the manifold is a one-way valve. It has a one-way valve in it. It's a check valve. Basically, anybody that runs air stones or air into aquariums, you want to have a check valve, especially if your pump is here and your tank is up here, to stop water from backflowing in case power outages. But anyway, to check it, it's pretty simple. Just blow in one end. Can't blow through, so that means it's stopping. It has to go this way. So you can blow through it. That's pretty simple. So this is the pump itself. Pump is pretty good size. Like I say, it's lightweight, has a handle, so you can transport it real easy. It's great. But let's hook this hose back up to it, and we'll go through some of the features with it. Well, matter of fact, before I hook it up, let me just do some of the features. So for the view, you have 3 buttons on here basically. You have a power button, minus and plus button, which will increase or decrease your airflow. The front of it, you have the nipple for your hose, your one-way valve hose. Now just take note, this is a bigger hose than a standard air hose. And same way with the manifold, it has a bigger tip on it. So a standard air hose won't fit on here, so you have to use this hose. And then on the back side, you have the AC plug adapter, and it plugs right there in the back. On the bottom, you've got these rubber mounted feet to keep noise and vibration down. So let's turn it on and check it out. So to turn it on, literally you just have to hold it for a few seconds, and you see you have a battery indicator. And right now, I know it may be hard. I may have to do some zooming in here in a little bit, but you have a DC indicator. That means it's run down battery, which it is right now. And it also gives you the number, what level are you at for what power. So here, if you push this is really simple, guys. You just keep pushing the plus. That's max. And you can hear it pumping air. She pumps a lot of air. And we keep going back down. We'll go back to number 1, and we'll turn it off. Just hold it for a few seconds, turns off. And like I say, the assembly of this thing, it's really simple. Once again, check your hose before you put it on. Because if you put it on backwards, you're not going to get no air. Just pretty simple. And you just shove it on there, and it is a good tight fit, which is awesome. You don't have to worry about it blowing off or slipping off. And then the same way with your manifold, you just slip it on the manifold. Once again, it is another tight fit. So that's pretty much the assembly of it. Let me get my camera over here, and we'll zoom in on the actual display grid on it, and I can show you more of the features a little bit more close up. So let's do that. All right, folks, so let's talk features. This is a little bit closer up so you can see much better. Right now I have it plugged in to the wall to AC. It's off. As you can see right down here, you have an AC indicator that tells you that it's plugged in. It shows you the charge of the battery. Okay, now if I'm to unplug this thing, you'll see that it's just going to go out for now. And then I'm going to leave it unplugged for just a second. Let me throw this plug somewhere, and let's turn it on with the unit unplugged. Hold it for a couple seconds, and there you go. You can see it's running on DC, and once again you have the different power levels. And I have the hoses running into a 5-gallon pail because I did a battery test with it, and as you can see, she's roaring pretty good. So that's running on battery. You see you got the DC indicator in the battery level. So let's turn it back down. And the vibration's coming from it's sitting kind of cockeyed on this 5-gallon pail. So let me turn it off, and let me get it plugged in real quick. Alright, once again, we're plugged in. You got the AC indicator. We'll turn it back on. And there you go. Same features, plus or minus. I mean, this pump is really simple to operate. And then, you know, depending on what you want to do here, you can raise or lower your volume of air that it's going to push. But you can also control it right here on your manifold. So if you see, your manifold has little valves here, so you can turn them. If I turn it this one like this all the way, that's full open, right? So you can control how much air you got going to any individual stone or whatever you have connected to it. So this is pretty much the features of this pump. It's simple. I mean, anybody can operate. Like I say, it's got the handle for you too, so it's very versatile. Anyhow, that's the features that you can see a little bit better than when I was on the floor there showing you. Okay, folks, so this is with all 6 stones running. My fish are freaking out because they're not used to this. So I put 4 of them in my 180 gallon, and you can see, and this is on level 2, and 4 of them, and then I put 2 more over in my 75 gallon, and they're running. As you can notice, these have some very large air bubbles. Okay, so if I go turn this thing up higher, which let's turn it up higher, and let's see what happens when I do that. You're going to notice the bubbles get bigger. So this is on level 4. So you can see lots of airflow with these big stones, and they do very well. And you can also, once again, like I say, you can regulate them off of the manifold down here. So you can turn one on or off. Let's go all the way up to level 9. So that's max flow. Now you think that thing puts out some air? Of course, my fish are probably like, what is going on? I've never seen this before. But this is pretty powerful. And like I say, I've got, the manifold is adjusted a little different for each one of them. And like in my 75, I've got them turned down so it doesn't really push a whole lot to them right now. All right, folks, so let's turn this thing back down to 1, and I'm going to change the stone out. I want to show you what kind of stones you also could use with this thing. So let's turn it down real quick. Let's go back down to level 1, and I'm just going to actually turn it off. And what I'll do is I have a stone here that I've used in the past. So this is a little 5-inch air stone, big flat disc, and it puts out really super fine bubbles. And you can use your own air stones as well on the ends of these tubes. But let's put this in there and I'll show you what kind of bubbles this thing can make. Let's hook it up to one of these. Alright folks, so I have it hooked to it. Let's turn it on. I also turned all the other ones off on the manifold, so only air is going to come out of the air stone there. So there you have it, folks. That really fine mist of air. If I had like a air stone that's one of them long bars that people put in the back of their tanks, that would also work as well. But like I say, this pump is very versatile. So however you want to use it, you know, you have a Zist air stone, you have a regular stone, little small ones, sponge filters, all of those will all work with this thing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to show you about the operations of it as it's running. And if you need to aerate big volumes, this is the pump for you for sure. Alrighty, thank you. Okay folks, so the next test that I'm going to do on this pump is we're going to run a battery test. Okay, so in their documentation it tells you at level 1 that this thing could run for 100 hours, and then at max levels with 1 stone it says a maximum of 8 hours. So I'm not sure if the 100 hours is considered with 1 stone or whatever, but this is what I'm going to do. I am going to test it with all 6 stones. I'm going to put it on a level 3. I'm going to unplug it and we're going to run it. Now I've already ran it, so I want to just kind of caveat what I did, how I did it. So I ran it, I started it the first day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and turned it on and let it run. When I went to bed, I turned it off and just left it unplugged to off. Come back in the next morning, turned it back on, let it run, and did that until the battery just completely died. So that's how I did this test. And I'm going to show you snippets of the pump and the battery levels, and I'll give you the hours that it has been running. So let's do that. We'll get this all together and show you how long the battery lasts in my test. Let's do it. So you can see I'm now running on DC. I had to shut the camera off and start it over to get it to run right because it wasn't focusing. So we're now, it's 1:45, started the battery test, and you can see we're running at 3 and the valve body is at 1/4 turn for all of them. And this is in general would probably be more like how a normal fish keeper is going to use it. And we'll go from there. So we're going to keep track of the time and see how long the battery actually lasts on this thing. So we're at 2 hours in now and it still shows a full charge. Bubbler's still bubbling like crazy. So doing good. So we are now at 4:45, which is 4 hours running on battery so far, and we're at 3 bars on the battery. And as you can see, still bubbling. Looking pretty good. Alright folks, so we are 9 hours in, 2 bars left. Doing pretty good. So folks, we are going on 11 hours on battery power. Still got 2 bars, and I'm on volume level 3 basically. It has 1 through 9, and I'm running it at 3. And as you can see, we're still bubbling like crazy. Well folks, we're now at 15 hours running on battery. Still got 2 bars. Still bubbling like crazy. Alright folks, so we're at 19 hours and we're down to 1 bar. And I'm pretty impressed. It's doing really good. According to their specs, if I put this on level 1, this thing would run for 100 hours. Who knows? But pretty impressed already. Alright folks, we're at 22 hours and I don't see any bars left, but she's still pumping. So we're going to let her go till it don't pump no more. So we made it just shy of 25 hours on level number 3, and she is dead. So pretty impressive. Alright folks, there you have it. Just about 25 hours of battery life on level 3. So that's pretty good for me. I think in most cases, most people would have their power back on by that time. And if not, maybe you have a battery backup to charge it back up or whatever. But anyway, the battery test is completed. I think it's done very well. What do you think? Okay folks, so this is my initial assessment on the Hygger 123 high efficiency AC/DC air pump. So overall, just like I say, this is the initial part of it. But first of all, who do I feel would actually benefit from using this pump? So this pump is a very versatile pump. Number one, you can have it plugged in, and number two, it can run off a battery. So for fish keepers that have a lot of tanks, especially on a racking system, I really think that this would be beneficial to those types of fish keepers. Folks that transfer fish from one place to another in a tub, you know, say you're bringing a fish to somebody else, you put it in a tub, you have air while you're transporting it, or even fish breeders or fish sellers that you have a big truck and they transport a bunch of fish and they take them to a customer's pond or say or lake or whatever and just pour them in there, keeping that aerated. You could use it for this. Say you have a small pond with koi or just goldfish, just a small pond, not huge ponds. It would work for that. Do you fish? Do you like to fish? So keeping live baits alive, you know, if you're a bank fisher like me and you go out there and you know you fish with minnows and you're transporting a pail full of minnows from where you bought them to where you're going fishing, and say it's an hour drive, it's a way to aerate them fish to keep them alive, because the minnows are easily die without oxygen. So that's another good thing for it. So there's a lot of uses for this size of pump in my opinion. So who do I think really wouldn't benefit from this pump? So people that have 1 or 2 tanks, this pump is really not for you. Or folks that have several tanks, but say their tanks are spread out throughout their house, throughout, you know, a room, and they're not kind of stacked close together. Probably not for them, you know, probably not good for them. I mean, you could make it work, but it probably wouldn't be very good looking by running hoses everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, but if they're in a rack, I think that would work good for you. So let's talk about likes and dislikes. So this pump will definitely, number one for me is it'll definitely pump air. There's no doubt about it. I also love the battery backup part for this. For fish keepers, that's a really good feature. You know, you lose power, you want to keep air in your tanks to keep the oxygenation moving because your filters ain't working because you don't have power. So this is a good feature for sure. And I love the fact that it has 9 flow settings or power settings, however you want to call it, 1 through 9. So you can adjust how much air you desire for whatever application you're using this thing in. I also like the 6-port manifold. In my opinion, I believe this pump can handle probably double that. So if I had a 12-port manifold, I believe it can handle it with no problem. I mean, this thing does pump a lot of air. 300 gallons per hour, it says, or by their specs. So who knows? It may even do more than 12, but I'm not an engineer that designed it, but it comes with the 6-port, but I believe, in my opinion, I think it can handle more than that. Another thing nice about it, it's lightweight, and it has a carrying handle that you can pick it up and carry it with you to go wherever you need to go with it. And the other thing I like about it is really quiet, for the most part. Now, I say that because when you're running it at level 1 through, say, level 4 or 5, it's virtually almost silent. But once you get up in the upper range, once you hit 9, I mean, you definitely can hear it. So it's much louder at level 9 than it is level 1. The air stones that come with it, they're very coarse, and they're designed to push a lot of large bubbles. So if you like large bubbles, you know, in your tanks, that's fine. If you don't, you can buy different air stones that produce a finer bubble spray, I should say. The adapter hose that goes from the pump to the manifold. Now, it's bigger than a standard air hose, so you have to have that specific size. But what I like about it, it comes with the built-in check valve. So all us fish keepers know if you're using an air pump, and if you keep your tank is here and your air pump's down here, you better have a check valve, because if you lose power, you could back siphon water into your pump and ruin it. So this already has that eliminated. It's a great safety feature. It's built onto the hose, so you don't have to, you know, worry about it. So that's great. So let's talk my dislikes. And I really don't have any dislikes per se. I may have some different preferences. We'll put it to you that way. First of all, me personally, I prefer black airlines. You know, most of my tanks are black background, so I like the airline to be hidden. But for those that are using it not in the aquarium world, but in fishing or for fish transportation, the color of the airline really makes no difference. And truly, it doesn't really make a difference in your aquarium other than sight, you know. But that's just my preference. And then initially, when I first opened the box of this, I'm like, oh my, this pump is huge. But after actually running this pump and operating it, I understand why the size it is. And it's lightweight, so it's not like it's like some big bulky brick you're carrying around. It's not. And it has a handle to carry it with it. So, and its capabilities, I mean, it's a powerful pump. So if you're needing a lot of air for whatever application that you're looking for, whether it be for your aquarium racking system and your breeding fish, or you're out on a boat and you need to aerate your live well because for some reason your live well don't have air or whatever, or you're just a normal bank fisherman like me and you need to aerate something, I mean, this is a good option for you. So anyway, that is my general initial overview of the Hygger 123 high efficiency AC/DC air pump. I'm going to keep this pump and run it on my 125 gallon. It'll operate 2 sponge filters, and I'm just going to leave it running, and we'll do a later review, a long-term review on it later on down the road. But for right now, this is my initial assessment, what I think it's good for, what I think it's not good for, and I hope this is informative to you guys. So that's my review. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.